Harry's working for Kat, actually. This would explain why Kat was willing to help him twice.
2 favors that you owe me.
And she clearly stated that she was doing a favor for Harry, not Conrad.
The favor, that wasn't for Conrad. That was for you, Harry.
This is actually a disguised reminder to Harry of whose man he is. Do you get what I mean? Harry is an undercover agent Kat planted beside Conrad. Obviously, Kat's power is unfathomable. With just one phone call, she can settle the dispute between the Halligan family and the Stevenson family. By placing an undercover agent in the Conrad family, her goal is to annex the 2 families and become the pinnacle of power. The biggest recent event in Mobland is that Conrad lost a son, which is related to Richie kidnapping Serafina and Brandon. Kat's intervention will surely make the Stevenson family target her, while also making Richie wary. Under the threat of these 2 forces, the Stevenson family will presumably be on the verge of collapse. This is Kat's purpose, to let the snipe and the clam fight while the fisherman reaps the benefits. Then, eliminating the Halligan family will also be just a matter of time. After all, with Harry undercover beside Conrad, he almost certainly knows all of Conrad's secrets. As a cleaner, all he needs to do is testify to the police about any single thing, which would be enough to threaten the Halligan family. I suspect that Harry meeting Kevin in prison was also orchestrated by Kat. When Kat says, "That is for you," she's not only telling the audience, but also reminding Harry not to forget their ultimate goal, to replace the Halligan family and become the most powerful force. Maeve will die by Conrad's hand in the next episode. The fuse has already been lit. Brandon's death.
Sacrificing pieces to win the match.
It was all because Maeve told Richie the location of the jewelry deal, causing Conrad to lose a son. Most importantly, Conrad has long known about this.
It doesn't need 2 of them. If I had to choose who to lose in a war, it'd be those 2 liabilities.
You know, Maeve, sometimes I think the devil's bile runs in your veins.
Conrad's reaction was clearly one of surprise and anger. He called Maeve a devil. How could Conrad tolerate such a ruthless woman who would sacrifice her own people to stir up trouble in the family? Moreover, Maeve keeps provoking him. She has questioned Harry repeatedly, and Conrad said,
Are you toying with me, Maeve?
it's clear Conrad will soon reach his breaking point. Remember, Harry is his most trusted subordinate. If Maeve's sowing discord leads to Harry's eventual death, Conrad would suffer heavy losses. Additionally, if something happens to Harry, the Halligan family might be completely taken down by the police. Maeve seems shrewd in eliminating factors detrimental to the family, but in my view, she is incredibly foolish and keeps testing Conrad's limits. This isn't about the family at all. It's just a woman's simple selfish desires. One is to ensure her son Kevin gets the inheritance, and the other is to retaliate against Conrad for his infidelity. You know, Conrad has countless lovers, and there might even be illegitimate children we don't know about. But Conrad is ultimately at the pinnacle of power. Maeve's biggest flaw is overestimating her own importance. If she can sacrifice Serafina and Brandon, then Conrad can also sacrifice Maeve. Harry is actually the son of Conrad and Kat. That's why Kat helps him unconditionally. We already know Conrad has another illegitimate child we don't know about.
It is you or your brother.
Obviously, we heard this from Maeve. And Maeve is always targeting Harry, suspecting he's an undercover agent. In fact, she just doesn't want Harry to get the inheritance. She fears Harry because after losing Brandon, she only has Kevin left as her son. Clearly, Harry is much more capable than Kevin. It can be said that even if the Halligan family didn't have Kevin, they couldn't do without Harry. So Harry's importance worries Maeve, which is why she wants to get rid of him. She reminded Conrad not to trust those around him too much, but from Conrad's reaction, it's clear he thinks this is ridiculous. He can't doubt Harry because Harry is his biological son. Even the fact that Harry knows Kat doesn't make Conrad wary. Obviously, Harry is very important to Conrad. As another illegitimate child, Serafina controls the family's vital jewelry business. It can be said that the most important roles in the family are given to Serafina and Harry. How could Harry not be part of the Halligan family? Kat's behavior is even more telling. Listen carefully.
The favor, that wasn't for Conrad. That was for you, Harry.
Obviously, someone in such a powerful position wouldn't do someone a huge favor without expecting something in return. And she only helps Harry, not Conrad. In fact, what she means is, Conrad and I have nothing to do with each other anymore. You're my son, and out of motherly love, I can help you. But it has nothing to do with Conrad at all. That's why Conrad wasn't surprised to learn Harry had contact with Kat. Maeve has monopolized London's fentanyl trade. That's why she's friends with Richie.
But if you touch a hair on my Brendan's head, then you and me are no longer friends.
We all know Richie's been dealing fentanyl for ages, and Maeve's been in on it just as long. What she's really saying is, we're business partners, but if you kill my son, this partnership ends. And make no mistake, for Richie to let her into the business, Maeve must have offered up major leverage or dirt on him. That phone call? Part plea, part threat. She's the most cunning player in the Halligan family, pretending to protect the family by suspecting Harry as a rat and pushing for Albie's death. It's all just about eliminating threats so she can seize control, step by step. Her endgame? She sees herself as the only capable ruler of the Halligans. Her son Brendan? A waste. Kevin? Useless. Sacrificing them means nothing to her.
A chain is as strong as its weakest link. It doesn't mean two of them.
Unlike Conrad, she trusts no one at face value. She's guarded against everyone, which is why no one suspects she's the real fentanyl kingpin. The deer in the opening? That's Maeve. The dogs around her? The rest of the Halligans. She's the lone predator, untouchable. No one's death shakes her because she's scheming to take over the entire empire. Maeve's conspiracy only needs an Eddie. We all know Maeve's ambition is to take control of the Halligan family. That's why she leaked jewelry transaction location, after which Richie kidnapped Serafina and Brendan. Think about it. Even though she appears worried about Brendan's life, it's just an act. She's already said,
If I had to choose who to lose in a war, it'd be those two liabilities.
and she clearly knows Brendan has been doing business with Serafina. So getting rid of Brendan was always part of her plan. Eliminating burdens and those who threaten her is all paving the way for her ambition. That's why she wanted Albie dead and wants Harry dead too. Their existence threatens her. Albie opposed the fentanyl business, putting him directly at odds with her. Harry, meanwhile, holds too many Halligan family secrets. If leaked to the police, it would destroy the family. Why is Eddie the most crucial to her? Because Eddie is the easiest to control and is a legitimate heir to the Halligan family. Once Kevin is eliminated, only Eddie will remain. That's why she dotes on Eddie, no matter how outrageous his actions are, like stabbing someone in a bar or even killing Tommy. Don't forget, Tommy is Richie's son. She's not afraid of offending the Stevenson family. Instead, she sees it as a perfect opportunity to start a war. She even said, "You should be proud of Eddie," and it's highly likely she ordered Eddie to do it. Everyone will accept Eddie as the family heir, and she just needs to manipulate him from the shadows.
He's a true Harrigan. He'll make a great man one day, you'll see.
Why hasn't anyone suspected Serafina is the mole? That's exactly why she kept targeting Alice at dinner. She clearly knew Alice might be a cop.
So you get the call, you do your digging.
Alice's arrival could be seen as letting a wolf into the house, but Serafina's overt hostility actually stems from her knowledge that Alice's presence would lead the police to arrest Conrad. That's why she made eye contact with the bald cop in the car later, yet showed no panic at all. Think about it. When she escaped from Jaime's grasp, she cried in Conrad's arms, but when Conrad was taken away, she didn't show a shred of concern. More importantly, she knew every detail about Harry's deal with Jaime. Obviously, Harry had been making calls in front of her.
You have a rat in your house. Do you know who it is?
Yes.
Fix it, then we have a deal.
Notice the deal was conditional on eliminating the mole in the family, but Harry didn't tell Serafina this crucial premise. He only said,
Said we have a deal.
Clearly, Harry knew Serafina was the mole and had to guard against her. You saw him immediately call lawyer O'Hara for a meeting and assumed O'Hara was the mole, but she has very little screen time. Aside from knowing where Archie's body was buried, there's no evidence to suspect her. Harry was likely just consulting her about the mole situation. In fact, the most capable members of the family are Serafina and Harry. Serafina controls the jewelry business and may well want to take over the entire Halligan family. The mole is obvious. The direct beneficiary of Conrad and Maeve's arrest is Serafina. Among Conrad's heirs, she's the most powerful.
The bald sheriff is actually working for Conrad, not Richie. That's why Conrad and Maeve were singing that song when they got arrested.
Men from Dublin town.
It's an old rebel folk song. They were confident they'd get out of jail safely because the bald sheriff had arranged everything, including this arrest. Think about it. Alice came for dinner and took the DNA-tainted cup, intending to use it to convict Conrad. But this was all orchestrated by the bald sheriff.
How would you like to be the person who put Conrad and Maeve Harrigan behind bars?
I'd love nothing more.
He manipulated Alice into framing Conrad, knowing full well that Conrad's house is covered in surveillance. Evidence that would not only exonerate Conrad, but also land Alice in prison. The bald sheriff doesn't care about sacrificing a few cops. That's why Harry let Alice go.
Harry.
They've known each other for a long time, and he had to preserve the plan's integrity. This scheme also aims to take down Richie. On the surface, the sheriff pretends to cooperate with Richie and plays a subordinate role, but in reality, he's gathering evidence to send Richie to prison.
You get him out of here, get him in any cop shop, a London Nick, and I'll take care of the rest.
In this way, he obtained evidence of Richie's crimes. Getting rid of Richie is a bigger priority than dealing with Conrad. You might think the two families are evenly matched, but Conrad always acts recklessly, while Richie behaves like a true mob boss. He shoots cops casually and constantly threatens the sheriff. This is a 2-for-1 strategy.